Is up, everybody? Clint Esposito here with my man Rasmus. What's up,
Uh,
Rasmus?
Not much. What's happening, everybody? I had a stressful day. Hold on a second.
So we're
I actually
doing
had the damn
episode number
freaking
5.
audio come out of the YouTube.
We're doing episode number 5, and we're gonna talk about. I found a good video of how, at least allegedly, our our world is actually run versus how we're told we think that the government's just up at top, but trying to find the one on Rumble. I can't find it. Let me see. There we go. So there's a guy, Mark Moss, on Instagram, and he has some good videos. He breaks some stuff down pretty good. Are you still there? Okay,
I'm here.
we're very quiet. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. I was waiting for the video, man.
All right, so we're gonna play the video for you guys. Let me switch our screen over here so people can see it. And
world is. And so up here at the top is that BIS, Bank of International Settlements. They are at the top. Below that is then the central banks. All right, so that's all coordinated by the BIS. Then down here we have these policymakers. So this is like the World Economic Forum, Club of Rome, Chapman House, Rockefellers, etc. These are like the think tanks. They are the policy makers. Then we have the policy distributors, the UN, the IMF. So then the IMF sits there. IPC, World Bank, etc. Then we have the policy enforcers. This is the national government. So you remember, or you might have heard, in the United States, for example, we've decided to lay down our sovereignty to the WHO, World Health Organization. So they distribute the policies, and the United States will enforce that policy. Down here below, we have the propagandists. This is all mainstream media. And then, of course, down here is you and I, the policy subjects. So you have to understand, the game is being played up here. It's not being played down here where you and I are distracted.
so that's it. He was basically saying that there's a bank above the central bank that's actually pulling the strings, and then you have Rockefeller and all those huge investment companies and whatever else, BlackRock. Then the government.
Yeah. I mean, I knew it was something like this before, but that first one, is it BIS, Bank of
Yeah,
International Settlements? I've
sovereignty.
never heard of that one before.
Yeah, me neither.
Do you know what that is?
No,
No? Should we look it up?
that's why I was like, yeah. That's why I was like, what is going on here? I wanted to see if there was a YouTube bank. Sovereignty. How the hell do you spell that?
Sovereignty.
I
So,
know I spelled that wrong.
fuck, you're asking a Swede? I don't know. So, sovereign. There's no way.
Sovereignty. World Bank Group, International Monetary Fund. I don't even think. Here we go. I'm going to copy the word.
Didn't he say Bank of International Settlement?
Did he?
I think so.
All right, let's look
Or
at
was it
that.
sovereignty? I think it was settlement. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, settlements. You're right.
Yeah.
All right, where they don't. Here we go. Wikipedia, because we know that that's correct. The Bank of International Settlements is an international financial institution owned by central banks. It doesn't say central bank, it says central banks. That fosters international monetary and financial cooperation and serves as a bank for central banks. The BIS carries out its work through its meetings, programs, through the Basel process, hosting international groups pursuing global financial stability and facilitating their interaction. It also provides banking services, but only to central banks and other international organizations. It's based in Basel, Switzerland. So you should know about this. with representative offices in Hong Kong and Mexico City.
Uh,
The BIS was established in 1930 by an intergovernmental agreement between Germany, Belgium, France, the United Kingdom, Italy, Japan, the United States, and Switzerland. It opened its doors in Basel, Switzerland, the 17th of May, 1930. The BIS was originally intended to facilitate reparations imposed on Germany by the Treaty of Versailles after World War I, and to act as the trustee for the German government international loan, yuan loan, that was floated in 1930. The need to establish a dedicated institution for this purpose was suggested in 1929 by the Young Committee. That didn't take long, huh? How long does
Yeah.
shit take in government? And all of a sudden they were like, hey, I think we should do this. All right, done.
You know what else is weird? They were started in 1930, and then that made me think of Agenda 2030.
What is that?
So it's Agenda 2030 is the UN, like the climate. So if you look it up, Agenda 2030 is like an open thing where they say they want to get rid of poverty, they want to fix the climate, all this shit. But it's like run by the WEF through the UN. So by 2030, they want to fix all these
Yeah.
things and make like a global government kind of thing. So maybe that's connected. Maybe that's like 100-year goal they had, and this
Maybe.
that's why it's 2030 and not 2035 or 28.
No, I mean that makes sense as much
It
as
would, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot of weird things with numbers with these people.
there is, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what they always say. Everybody that thinks we're gonna, defeat them is always like, symbolism will be their downfall. Do you see
can
that?
On that topic, before we get into all this, like the structure of the world, talking about symbolism, do you watch the fights, like the UFC?
No, I didn't see it.
So Israel Adesanya is the middleweight champion now again. He fought, was it 2 weeks ago? And you know how they have Monster is the big sponsor of the UFC?
Yeah.
So in the middle of the octagon, they have the Monster logo. And after he won his fight, he walks over to the Monster logo, and he with his finger, he's like crossing it over, and he gives it the bird to the Monster logo.
Uh-huh.
And then, because I didn't react to it, I didn't even see it when I watched it live. But then a video popped up on my Instagram where a dude showed him doing that, and then he explained why. Because at one time on a press conference, he did the same. They gave him like a Monster drink, and he kind of like he threw it away.
Yeah.
And so he said the three fucking things on the M.
Are supposed to be sixes.
Yeah, in Hebrew or some shit. That's the 6. And
Yeah.
there's also like an upside down cross in that fucking thing somehow. And so he's basically saying that's like that Monster Energy is, connected to Satanism or some shit like that,
Yes, I've heard
was
that
kinda weird.
before. But it's weird, right? Because it's like Monster Energy logo, conspiracy. Maybe meaning.
Yeah.
There you go. But this is I want somebody that believes it. Because this says has been accused of satanic symbolism.
Yeah. But I mean, if you just look at the symbols that make the M, and you just go to what's a 6 in Hebrew? I think it's Hebrew. I'm not 100 on that. It's like exactly how it looks.
Okay, so the Monster Energy drink has been manufactured by Hanson Natural Company, which is now called Monster Energy Beverage Corporation. So way back in the day in action sports, Hanson's soda was a... Do you remember that?
Hanson what?
It was like Hanson's soda. It was all natural soda or something like that. And
I don't think we had that over here. Maybe way back.
yeah, like it was like
young.
early 2000.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, they turned into they started an energy drink, and they turned into Monster, which then got bought by
Ah,
Anheuser-Busch or something since then.
oh, okay.
Um, let's see. Since 2002, it's been called Monster Beverage Corporation. The modernistic Monster Energy logo was created by McLean Design, a branding company headquartered in California. Meaning and history. Oh. The emblem represents a large neon M on the black background. The characters look torn and somehow resemble the claws of a monster trying to get out of the can. The company has been alleged for using satanic symbols. Some people mentioned that the Monster Energy logo seems to include 3 Hebrew characters which have the numerological I think meaning of 6. Therefore, in their view, the emblem is nothing but the biblical number of the beast. However, the design firm responsible for creating the logo claimed the emblem did not include any sand. Of course, I mean, what else are they going to say?
Yeah, they're
Monster,
not gonna say it.
yeah. Monster Energy logo has never been modified since its induction in 2002. One of the reasons can be that the beverage sales stayed higher. Who created? We already looked at this. The authors of the Monster Energy emblem were designers from McLean Design, the firm based in Walnut Creek, California, specializing in brand packaging design. In addition to Monster, the company boasts such famous clients as Nestle, Sunsweet, Bosch, Epson, Unilever, and Coca-Cola, which are all gigantic companies who, if you were believing that there was some bigger entity running, probably owns those things as well.
Yeah, I mean, I bet if you follow the money, you know, you'll get there. But
Um,
anyways, that was just a sidetrack. Dude. Let's get back to how the world's run.
okay.
Was that Bank of International Settlements,
Yeah.
and then
Um,
and it said that the central banks own that bank.
well,
It's
yeah,
probably the opposite,
I know. That's why it seemed
or it's
weird.
just the same people.
Well, because they said that this bank loans to the central banks.
Yeah.
But it did say something about being owned by it too. Um, it's also weird that what happened with Germany that they were getting, where was it, the reparation thing that it said here, reparations imposed on Germany. Oh shit. See what it says. Following the ratification of Article 231 of the Treaty of Versailles at the conclusion of World War I, the Central Powers were made to give war reparations to the Allied powers. Each of the defeated powers was required to make payments in either cash or kind because of the financial situation. Of course, now it takes me to the whole thing. Um, Situation in Austria, Hungary, and Turkey. After the war, few to no reparations were paid, and the requirements for reparations were canceled. Bulgaria, having paid only a fraction of what was required, saw its reparation figure reduced and then canceled. Historians have recognized the German requirement to pay reparations as the chief battleground of the post-war era. So, Germany was screwed up in the First World War too. They were also on the wrong side in that one, is what I'm
I don't
gathering.
know, man. Because all we hear about is
World War
Adolf
Two, yeah.
and his yeah. So I don't know exactly what happened during World War One.
Um,
Maybe nah, this is probably completely wrong. But I was thinking that maybe they fucked up Germany in the first World War, and that's what started the second one. So it was like
well,
a vengeance thing, or like you know.
yeah.
But I'm probably way off. I don't know shit about those wars.
Well, now because like you said, I know most about World War II, obviously,
Yeah.
because we're like love to do shows on Hitler and talk shit on Hitler. So
Yeah.
there's like a
Of course.
million shows on Hitler, and I don't even know what World War One was fought over.
No clue.
Um, the world, obviously, they're very upset about it.
Yeah.
So that's funny that they were trying to make them pay reparations,
Yeah.
which didn't work then either, obviously.
Yeah. Obviously.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So let's get back to this bank. Um, the charter of the bank was drafted at the International Bankers Conference and adopted the second Hague, Hague conference. Whatever. The BIS original task of facilitating the BIS original task of facilitating World War One reparation payments quickly became obsolete. Reparation payments were first suspended in 1931 and then abolished altogether in 1932. So this thing got put together in 1930 to do this, and 2 years later they were just like, screw it, we're not doing reparations.
Fuck it. Yeah.
The BIS focused on its secondary task, i.e., fostering the cooperation between its members' central banks. It acted as a meeting forum for central banks and provided banking facilities for them. For instance, in the late 1930s, the BIS was instrumental in helping continental European central banks ship out part of their gold reserves to London. As proportionally a political organization, the BIS was unable to prevent transactions that reflected contemporaneous geological realities. I don't even know what that word
And
means.
these texts are so fucking complicated.
So we didn't even know that this thing exists, and it's like above all the other banks that we even know of.
Yeah. That's weird. But obviously they're working together also.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure
It's like,
similar.
doesn't matter.
No, I'm sure similar people work at there as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
What's up,
That's the thing. It's like,
Swayze?
does it even matter how many steps above there is? Because like once you get past once you know that the government is not really running shit, then doesn't matter how many steps. Like,
I mean,
does it matter?
I
don't
guess
know.
not. I mean, how are
Maybe it
you
does.
going to? Essentially, you would have to. Here's the issue with this, right? Is that even the government is not making the laws. The government, under this premise, is still just the enforcers of whatever laws are passed down to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So even voting and stuff, I mean, the only way I feel like you can really fight back is not buying the products, because all these things are owned by huge corporations.
Yeah. You vote with your money.
Yeah.
That's like that's the only thing. And what does he say? Man, this is a great podcast from the UK. He's a dude, Richie Allen, he's called. He says the way out of all this bullshit is like massive scale non-compliance, peaceful non-compliance.
That's what I was just thinking.
Everyone was just like, fuck you. we're
The
not
whole
doing it."
world, though.
Yeah.
You know,
You
but
have to get to that point.
yeah, I mean, that's the issue, right? Is getting to that tipping point where everybody is like, on board
What's
with,
up, Ryan? Ryan's here.
yeah, where everybody's on board with, build, growing your own food and
Yeah.
animals and shit. Because right now, have you seen, oh, what the hell is it? Appeal? Do you know what a peel is? The stuff that
Uh-huh.
let me see. Um, I don't know if I'm spelling it right, but there's something that Bill Gates has that he's spraying on fruits,
Really?
and yeah, and there's no, they don't tell you what's in it, and if you read the Food Gone Good, here you go. APPEEL.
Ew. Uh-huh.
Oh, here we go. Why do some fruits and vegetables last longer than others? Here's a little video.
Most people look at this and see an apple. At a peel, we see a database filled with millions of years of information and nature's molecular building blocks, which make a lemon more lasting than a strawberry. And we see sustainable ways to use seeds and skins from plants, extracting the molecules that make up their protective shield, applying this extra peel to other fruits and vegetables, giving them added protection that increases their lifespan by up to 3 times without using harmful chemicals. And when all that's done, we still don't see an apple. We see you getting to eat more of the food you buy. We see a global food system.
All right.
We don't see an apple. We see you being poisoned. Fuck off. And anytime they use that word sustainable, I just go fuck you straight away.
Yeah.
Because it's always like that. It's more sustainable for the environment and for our health. Fuck off.
But it's hilarious. Anytime something's for convenience, right? Like, what's the real point of this? Just so that fruits and vegetables last longer in your refrigerator? Like, don't buy as many fruits and vegetables at one time and just eat them before they go bad.
Yeah.
Like nature intended. This is the issue, is that we try to skirt, you know what I mean? All this stuff, and we're just like, I don't want to have to go to the store this often.
Yeah. But anytime, it's always, this is what I'm starting to realize more and more. And actually, next week, I'm going to have a lady on who's written books on like sunscreen and shit like that. And like why the sun is good and why sunscreen is not good. But like I see it more and more, they try to fuck with nature.
Yeah.
Like natural things happen for a reason, and they try to change it and GMO everything that we have. Like, it's just, I'm not a fan of any of it because it seems crazy. The world is kind of perfect as it is already. Like,
but you can't profit off of it. Here's the issue:
that's the problem.
if everything is provided by nature, right, and you have access to all the medicines and everything just through nature itself, why are you buying their drugs?
Exactly.
Why are you buying their fake, food?
Fake meat.
Fake meat.
Hilarious, dude. Beyond, what is it? Beyond Burgers?
Yeah.
Some shit like that.
Guess who owns that?
Probably Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. He does.
Did you know that he bought a huge piece of Heineken?
Oh, yeah.
Like the company Heineken. So now, like, if you look at, and Heineken owns tons of other beers as well. So I'm like, I don't know. For me, I try to vote with my money. I'm gonna start drinking local beers instead.
Yeah.
Not that I drink that much, but still,
No, that's the way to go, right? Anyway, here's what we should be all doing anyway, is just shopping at the local people. Like, this is, everybody claims to care about community and this and that, and then they order off of Amazon from China, and they go to big box grocery stores, and buy. I even, like, we talked about it before. There's the grass-fed meat in my grocery store is from Australia.
Really? Fuck. Well, I think you said that before. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cheaper. You can get 2 grass-fed steaks for like $15, or you could get two, and maybe it's a little bit lesser cut of meat, but if you got the regular USDA Angus stuff, it'd be like 20 something dollars.
Really?
And the funny thing is that, I go by the color of all this stuff, and the color of all
Yeah.
the meat has been getting lighter and lighter.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's
and
supposed to be like dark red, like.
exactly. So
Yeah.
the grass-fed stuff is, and then everything else is like kind of this
Bleak. Like,
opaque-ish like color. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, what is going on? And it's been over the last year or so that it's really started getting even worse. But now did you hear they're trying to make it so that they're giving these animal mRNA?
I heard, yeah, that's fucked up, dude. Because if that's the case, then you really can't get away from it unless you buy your the neighboring farm or something. But they might
Exactly.
get to them too, because they'll put some laws in place that you have to
Right.
vaccinate your cows, right? It's fucked up, dude. I
That's
mean, they would. It seems to me before I would think that they would have to tell you about this stuff, but they don't. They
yeah.
would just do it.
Yeah, that's the see, this is how you know we're not running shit or our government is not
Yeah.
running shit, because
Obviously.
you would think that they would have their own that's you realize how much these politicians are in the pocket of all these people, right? Because they're not even standing up for the people that they live next to.
It's crazy.
They're not.
It's sick. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go and buy some meat from my yeah, we have farmers like pretty close by,
Yeah.
and just buy all my shit from there. Even though it's more expensive, but it's like, yeah, it's
You-
so much better for you.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. People say this stuff is expensive, but it's like, have you had, cancer? It's
Yeah.
pretty expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's weird. Anyways, so back to the banks. So underneath the BIS is the central banks.
Yeah.
And these are the people printing money, right? And then they're lending it to the government, but I would assume then also to the people above the government, which is WEF, WHO. There was some, what was that? The Club of Rome, he mentioned. I
Yeah.
don't even know what that is.
I don't either.
But it sounds sketchy, though. It sounds like one of these, Illuminati.
Yeah,
groups.
exactly.
Shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right,
Club of
so
Rome.
I
It's
just
Caesar's descendants.
yeah. Yeah, or the Knights Templar or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I just looked up central bank, of course, Wikipedia, so it's like whatever. A central bank, reserve bank, or monetary authority is an institution that manages the currency and monetary policy of a country or monetary union. Yeah, so it even says here that the central bank manages the currency and monetary policy of a country
So,
or monetary union. Yeah, so it even says here that your country's not setting up their financial.
it's not hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A central.
That's the weird thing about the last couple of years, that they're putting almost everything out in the open.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
they're
true.
not hiding a lot of stuff anymore. Like they're almost like putting it in your face. But you have to have a certain kind of mind to read it right.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing, right? And that's why they made up the conspiracy theorist label and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because they wanted a way to easily discredit,
Yeah.
and just be like, oh, they're whatever.
Yeah.
A central bank, hold on, and oversees their commercial banking system. In contrast to a commercial bank, a central bank possesses a monopoly on increasing the monetary base. Most central banks also have supervisory supervisory, and regulatory powers to ensure the stability of member institutions, to prevent bank runs. What the hell is that? Let's see what that says. A bank run or a run on the bank occurs when many clients withdraw their money from a bank. There you go. And to discourage reckless or fraudulent behavior by member banks. Central banks in most developed nations are institutionally independent from political interference. Still limited control by the executive and legislative bodies exist. Activities of the central bank: monetary policy, financial stability, reserve management, banking supervision. Yeah, regulating and supervising the banking industry. Payment systems, coins or notes, whatever.
Printing money.
Yeah. So, what were we looking at? Club of Rome?
Yeah. Dude, another side note, actually, my buddy told me, because he's deeper than me on all the conspiracies. You know how the Queen of England died recently?
Yeah.
And so now, do you know David Icke?
No, I feel like I've heard the name, but I'm not sure.
He's like the king of conspiracies. So basically what he's saying, and some of the stuff that he says makes sense, some of it is kind of cuckoo, but it might be right, I don't know. But he talks about like an alien species coming to Earth, and that some of these people are like reptile people, like shapeshifters and shit like this. Anyways, he's been right on a lot of stuff.
Alex Jones has been saying that for friggin' 30 years.
See? But if, this was the thing. So the queen died, and now they're gonna, it's gonna be a king. It's gonna be what's his name, Charles.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be King Charles, and this apparently was covered on the mainstream as well, that he is actually related to Vlad the Impaler.
Nice.
Which is interesting. Which is what Dracula is based on.
Right.
And what my boy was telling me, and we listened to a podcast about it, where there was a guy, I can't remember his name, but he was very interesting. He was saying that all of the, what do you call them? Like royal families, all of them are
Inbred.
related. Yeah, like even like
even from
Arab,
one to the other.
Yeah, like somewhere like they're blood related from way back when. They just kept it all in the family.
Yeah.
And basically, I don't know. I think the royal family of the UK is what they're saying is they have a huge part in everything that goes on in with all this stuff.
Right. I'm sure. How do you become how is it that the royal family is even still a thing? Because they have parliament and they have a government, and then they just still have this family that's like, I still don't understand exactly what the royal family does.
Dude, we have a royal family in Sweden.
Really?
Yeah, we have a king.
How many places have royal families?
I have no clue. I don't know. I mean, I think most countries would have had him before, but like our king here in Sweden, like no one respects him at all. Like he got caught like driving too fast. He got caught at a titty bar doing coke, I think, or something like that. He's just a clown. Like no one cares about him.
If you're some rich king, what the fuck are you supposed to do?
Well, I would probably do the same shit, but he's an old dude. But I don't know what they do. They're supposed to be like representatives of the country. But I don't know. It seems to me it's kind of he's a useless person. Like
Yeah.
they do nothing for our country. It's weird. I don't know. I'm not in support of any of that.
This is a list of current monarchies. As of 2023, there are 43 sovereign states in the world with a monarch as head of state. There are
Our king isn't
13.
the head of state. Or is he? Maybe it's called that. I don't know.
A head of state is the public persona who, and it says persona, not person, who officially embodies a state in its unity and legitimacy. Depending on the country's form of government and separation of powers, the head of state may be a ceremonial figurehead or concurrently the head of the government and more. So there you go.
Well, he has like no say in anything.
Then it's just they said just a ceremonial figurehead.
Yeah.
So how dope is
that's
that
what it
though?
is.
To be a ceremonial figurehead? Then you just do coke in the bar and screw off, you know what I mean? What else are you supposed to do?
I do the same, dude. He got caught driving a Ferrari really fast and
Yeah.
fucking like that. But like the problem is he can't hide. So when he gets caught, there's a huge media thing, and people start getting pissed at him for
Well,
representing Sweden in a bad light.
Sounds like his
But
family needs to buy the media a little bit. Sounds like they need to pay off the media, get this stuff expunged, and then they'd
they
be
probably
fine.
do. They probably do.
There's even more stuff he's doing that you guys don't hear about.
I'm sure. And actually, I'll tell you a short story. So I used to date a girl who lives in. You wouldn't get it if I said it, but it's like in Stockholm, and then there's an island, a group of islands. So you drive over a bridge, and then the king has his. It's not a castle, but it's a huge mansion where he actually lives. So, and my ex, she was into horses and stuff, and that on that island, there's a lot of like horse places where you can they go horse riding and stuff. It's like for rich people.
Right.
And every Christmas morning, she had as a tradition, she would take her family and take her horse for a walk in the woods there. And all that woods is owned by the king. And she said, every year we meet the king here on
Oh, wow.
Christmas Eve because he does like a Christmas walk as well. So I actually ran into him twice, like this. Like I could have shook his hand, like we said hello to him.
Uh-huh.
And then it made me think, because and anyone who sees this, I would never try to kill the king.
But there was nobody around him.
I mean, I was just thinking, like, is there snipers up in the trees or some shit? There was
Yeah.
no, like, he was there, and then his son was there, and there was like his driver. Like, if I wanted to assault him or some shit,
Yeah.
like, it would have been so easy. But that means it shows me how useless he is.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Because you're not getting near a politician in the United States, probably other countries as well. But it's like,
You could maybe here, but you'd have to find. Like, it'd be way harder than that.
in the United States, you are not getting close to a politician, I don't
Yeah.
think. Like, they have
Maybe
serious
20, 30
security.
years ago you could, but
Yeah.
it was actually a politician. Maybe it's 10, 12 years ago now. She was in a big mall in the city, and this dude just ran up and stabbed her to death
Wow.
in the middle of the day. Like, yeah. So you can, but it's not easy.
And you're definitely going down.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that he was probably like MK Ultra or some shit.
Probably.
And, like it might have been something like that.
I was just about to get off a topic here. So the Commonwealth realms, King Charles III is the monarch of 15 Commonwealth realms: Antigua, Barbuda, Australia, the Bahamas, Belize, Canada, Grenada, Jamaica, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, Salomon Islands, Tuvalu, and the United Kingdom. They were evolved out of the British Empire into fully independent states within the Commonwealth of Nations that retain the same king as head of state. Unlike other Commonwealth countries that are either dependencies, republics, or have a different royal house. All 15 realms are constitutional monarchies and full democracies, where the king or his representative legally possessed vast prerogatives but fulfills a largely ceremonial role. There you go. So think about just the fact that England owns all those places and nobody's mad at England right now. Like, how come
Yeah.
the US is the biggest dick bag on the block, right? And it's like, we don't even own that many places at this point.
Yeah. I guess it's because most of the wars going on.
We're in now. But my point
Yeah,
is
like
that
in the last like 30 years, you guys have been killing people left and right.
but we're
Right?
still in trouble for slavery is the point. Is my point is like, and I guess they probably conquered these places way before that time period as well. But it's like
I'm sure, yeah.
they obviously
There's some
they
dickheads.
they conquered
England.
whole countries. Like we're not.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you just look at how big the language of English is, look at the countries where you would think that they have their own language. Like even India. India, I think, is a Commonwealth country. They have their own language, but they're also they speak English
Right.
as like their first language in a lot of places. South Africa. I mean, there's so many places, which is I don't know. It's weird.
So now that everybody's going to the yuan as their money, is everybody going to start speaking Cantonese?
Probably.
I mean, it could happen. That's the way it could go.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Club of Rome, did I already read this? Is a non-profit, informal organization of intellectuals and business leaders whose goal is a critical discussion on pressing global issues. The Club of Rome was founded in 1968 at Accademia dei Lincei in Rome, Italy. It consists of 100 full members selected from current and former heads of state and government, UN administrators, high-level politicians, and government officials, diplomats, scientists, economists, and business leaders from around the globe. How could anything go wrong with this? You know what I mean? I don't see any way that laws or medicine or any of this stuff gets implemented globally to affect everyone. It just doesn't seem like that would happen with this company.
It doesn't seem sketchy at all. I mean, it seems legit. And
Yeah.
it's always for a good cause. It's just like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and like all of these.
Exactly.
They are what's the word for it?
Bullshit.
Philanthropic.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Isn't that the word?
Philanthropist. Yeah, philanthropy.
Yeah, yeah. To make the world a better place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing that, and I guess it's the same way when people vote for people. You know, I'm sure everywhere, but it's like Biden, for instance. There's tons of information, like tons of video of Biden saying racist shit throughout his whole career and doing racist shit, right?
Yeah.
And but then they just get on TV and you go, I'm here for the people and I want to make it a better place. You never say how you're going to make it a better place or anything. And then people just go, yeah, that's my guy. He's going to do this. And it's like, have you been paying attention to anything that he's actually done? Any of these fucking people. You know, like,
No one can answer it.
no, because,
Did you see the one? He's pushing the alphabet people.
yeah.
And then I saw a video of him like 30 years ago when they were discussing gay marriage, and he was like, no, he was like full against gay marriage.
Even Hillary was. There's a clip
Yeah.
of Hillary being like, no, marriage is between a man and a woman.
Yeah, and then there was the clip of him now, and have you seen that one? Because he was like, oh, I remember the first time I encountered, I was getting picked up at school by my dad, and there was two guys kissing. And my dad said, some guys like other guys, and some girls like other girls. And it was just a bullshit story because it was like, we know your opinion on it. Like, we've seen the videos of what you said before.
He's the most
Not
blatant.
that you can't change your mind, but still.
Yeah. He's the most blatant bullshitter of them all. I mean, though, here's the thing. He has been noted as a bullshitter forever. Like
Yeah.
in the whatever in 80s or 90s or something, he was called out for like plagiarizing whole speeches and shit. You know, it's like, do you know that he had brain surgery? Like 2 brain surgeries?
But he said it in one. He said they
Yeah.
lifted the top of his head up and
Yeah.
lifted his brain.
The fuck are we doing? Then we got Fetterman who had a stroke. He reads as bad as I do. I'm like,
Oh
I
my
shouldn't
God.
be leading anything either. Like, what is going on here?
But it's like that concept, right? If everyone in the room is dumb, the most confident one, one is confident, the other one goes, yeah, let's follow him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's
But
true.
I don't understand how there's just, I guess, because they hide half the side, right? But it's so obvious today that it's like, you don't even have to look that far. Go to YouTube and put Joe Biden compilation. There's like 2 hours of fucking material. It's hilarious.
Dude, how
I'm so
do
happy that he actually became president because there's so many funny clips.
people, here's the real question. How do people, I think we're getting more into mind control or something here, but it's like, I don't understand how these people keep buying that narrative. How the masks have been coming back more recently. Like they've
Wow.
faded down, and then recently when I go to the store, I see more people with masks on than I did, and I'm like, more and more information keeps coming out that they don't do anything, and yet people are still just like, when I see people now, I just feel bad for them, like old or young, middle-aged. I'm like, you guys are just fucking stupid, right? But if it's an old person or a young person, I'm like,
Yeah.
man, they really fucked you up. You guys fucked
Yeah.
this person up to where they
Yeah.
think, you know. But
I'll tell you,
middle-aged people, I'm just like, you come on, you understand how to use the internet, and you should have your wits together enough still that you can research and be like, oh, this is bullshit.
yeah, it's not hard, man. Even though they try to hide it, but if you just ask someone, so let's say if I know someone who wears the mask and I say, hey, that's bullshit, they could just ask me and I'll just send you a link and you can read about it. Like it takes 2 seconds.
Dude, and
But
that's
I had,
even
I
big
have-
media places
Yeah.
have posted them.
yeah, exactly. Dude, I had actually this happened just Tuesday this week. So I won't say who it is because it's a relative of mine anyways. And when the pandemic hit, or when they came out with the jab, at least this person was, I wouldn't say he wasn't trying to force me to get the shot or anything, but he was kind of trying in some ways. Like he just couldn't understand why I wouldn't get it, and he got it, obviously 2 or 3 at least. I
Yikes.
think 2 or 3 probably. And he's had COVID 3 times since then.
Yeah.
And even when he didn't have the vid, he's literally been sick for like a year. Over a year. Not sick, but he's like, oh, I'm so
Doesn't
he's like
feel
going
good.
to the doctors to see if he has like a chronic illness. And I'm like, can you not connect the fucking dots? Are you serious?
It says
No,
it's
he
safe for
got it.
people.
Yeah, but he got it for a 3rd time last week. And he's actually he said he shat his own bed 7 times.
Oh
In
my
the middle
god.
of the
It's-
Yeah. And he's like, it's the COVID. I'm like, first of all, the tests are shit. So maybe it's not COVID. Maybe you
Yeah.
just ate some bad stuff, or I don't know. But second of all, like, you were raving about the shots. Like, I thought that was the savior. Like, and at least maybe ask me then, like, because obviously they don't work. But he just stopped talking about it ever since then.
Well, of course. But because now I think he's got to be realizing, going, oh man, maybe he was right. But up
Not
until
only
this
that, I think the
point,
shots making him sick too.
yeah, of course they are. I mean, that's shown as well that there are tons of. The fact they're not putting out the actual numbers and stuff is very alarming, because
Yeah,
there
of course.
are definitely tons of side effects, and a lot of people are getting sick from that stuff. But in his head, just like the masks and just like Joe Biden's going to, save us, I'm sure in his head he didn't die from COVID because he had the shot. This is the thing. You can never,
Yeah.
you can like, and how are you going to tell him that's not the case? You
Yeah.
can't, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like, I always say people live in different dimensions, and it's like, I'm safe because I didn't get it, and he's safe. He didn't die from COVID because he did get it, you know?
Yeah.
And you'll never be able to convince either one of us otherwise.
No. No. But I think there's not a lot of people who didn't get it who regret not getting it.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. And there's a lot of people who got it who's like, fuck, I shouldn't have gotten that.
Yes. You know,
Like,
I know just from being hurt in surgeries and stuff, it's like, and medicine, everything doesn't always work and everything doesn't always go back to normal. You know, you're
Yeah.
better off being a little bit of caution and being like, do I really need to? So somebody I know just got, Bethany they had a conversation about getting breast implants. And she's like, a lot of women are having problems with breast implants and getting them removed because they're getting like infections or their bodies are just kind of fighting them. And then this person went and got some, and then they were in the hospital with their heart rate super high and all this stuff from, who knows. Oh, they also just had breast cancer. And then, so they just
is
had,
that why she wanted the implants?
yeah, to even them
Oh,
out
okay.
because they had to take some out. But it's like, as much as that sucks, and I get it, it's like doing something elective like that could have dire consequences, later you're just like, oh, was that really necessary?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing too, because it's so common today, at least here with the duck lips,
Oh,
that one.
yeah.
I don't get that because I don't think I have a single buddy who's like, yeah, duck lips are hot.
I did a
Like,
video,
bro,
remember, about that chick that looked like she
oh,
had
I saw that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
eaten
was hilarious.
something she was allergic to, dude. They were so
Yeah.
big. It
It
was.
looked like you've been punched by like Brock Lesnar or some shit. It's just ridiculous, actually. I don't get it because the dudes don't like it that much. I
Well,
don't know anyone who's like, whoa, that's really hot.
somebody's gotta be. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
but I think
nice
it's
lips are cool, but like, I'm
how if
never.
they look fake though?
No, I mean, no. Well, that's my point. Is like once you get past a certain point, and unless you have no lips at all, like I don't think
Exactly.
I'm that worried about it.
Yeah.
Do you,
I think your body. I mean, this is the problem though. People just can't get over the because everyone has something they don't like about their body,
right?
right? So do I. But I got over it. It's like as you just accept it and move on. But I guess it's hard for people to do that. I
Yeah,
guess. I don't know. But I
because
don't think surgery is the answer to your fucking problems.
so many people's self-esteem is just wrapped up in how they feel other people view
Yeah.
them or are
Yeah.
attracted to them.
But in that case, I would say for dudes, just get jacked. Even
Yeah,
if you have an ugly face, get jacked. You look
yeah,
great. And then for chicks,
get jacked.
same thing. Get jacked. Work on that booty. You don't get a great ass.
But
and
what
I
you're
mean,
saying,
it
and
works.
I've thought about this as well, and it's like I think that's why a lot of people end up doing body modification, and you know what I mean, like whatever it is, big earlobes or big nose rings,
Yeah.
or it's like because they're trying to make themselves probably different or more appealing without having to actually do the work to get like in shape.
Yeah. Or maybe, oh, dude, maybe like the huge piercings and stuff like this is supposed to work as a distraction from the body part that you don't like about
Maybe.
yourself. Maybe that's the thing. So if you have like a big nose or something that you don't
You
like,
just get a
then
big
but you no, because that would kind of like make you
draw
look at the nose
attention to it.
more.
Yeah.
But you put like the huge earrings or get a tattoo on your fucking head or You know,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
people don't look at the nose, right? That makes
Even
sense, actually.
even bodies, right? If you're like don't work out and you just got a blah body, but now you've just covered it with tattoos. It's
Yeah,
like you can't even really tell what's going on anyway. So you're just
yeah,
like, their
yeah,
tattoos are hot.
yeah. That's funny, man. It's funny to me. We talked about this before, me and a friend. It's like, it's not to like shame fat people or anything like that. It's just, to me, it's more like, I, I, I kind of, I just want to tell them that, look, you don't have to be fat. I believe that you could do better. That's, but that's not fat shaming to me. That's like encouragement, you know? But it's funny to me how they will go and buy like the nicest clothes. And I'm like, you still look like a potato, man. Like,
Yeah.
you just look like a potato in a nice shirt now. It's just, we can still see it.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. It's funny to me. I would just spend all that money at the gym or buying supplements or,
Yeah.
hire a coach. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Figuring out
Because
how to.
someone who's jacked can walk in, but someone who's super jacked can be like, look homeless, but still look kind of cool.
Yeah.
You can have torn up jeans or like fucking, a wife beater on and it look kind of
Yeah.
ratchet like that. But if you're jacked, it still looks kind of
Yeah. You look like a Viking
alright.
that just
Yeah,
got off of work or something. You know
yeah.
what I was just thinking? There's no jacked homeless people.
Well, they are, man, but they're rare. But have you seen the dude? There's a guy in, I think, one American I saw, but then there's a guy in France who was homeless.
Uh huh.
So he started doing calisthenics, and this dude is like older. You should see the shape of this dude, man. He's fucking shredded, and he puts a hat on the ground, and he does like calisthenics on fences and stuff. And people, I'm sure he's making like pretty good money now. But yeah, I mean, if you're starving, you're probably not thinking about working out.
No. I'm just trying to find jacked homeless man in France, but they don't.
Nothing?
Doesn't come
Hold
up.
on. Hold on, I'll have a look. Homeless body. Because I think that's the way they phrased it. I think he was from France.
I just got French police
Oh, here he is.
sprays
No,
bystander.
type homeless bodybuilder France. He's fucking jacked to the gills. I'm sure he probably has some money now because he got famous, but he was homeless when he started.
Hey, when I was typing in, I had a homeless bodybuilder and it said diet.
Oh, what he eats?
I don't know if it was even related to him. Oh my god, he is jacked.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, he's fucking really jacked, and he does like calisthenics. That's all he does. Like,
Bro, what
50
is he
years old.
eating?
Probably rats or something, man. I don't know. He must be eating some high protein.
Yeah.
Maybe they pay him in like protein and testosterone or some shit.
Yeah. Let's.
But I'm sure he's got money now. Like, he became a sensation. Like, he must made some money off of that.
So there you go. All that dude was got jacked, and now he. You know what I mean? My point is,
Yeah.
he just got good at one thing,
Yeah.
and now he's known and probably has a house.
Probably, yeah. But see, this I've been thinking about this a lot lately. That if because I do the other show and it's a lot of like personal development and self improvement and stuff like this, and I've been thinking about it. Like any problem that you have, may it be mental health issues, money issues, relationship issues, whatever it is, I would say first step, start working out.
Yeah.
For anyone, because there's literally no downside to it, and there's so many things that will get better if you get in shape. Your confidence, your believe in yourself, you look trustworthy because you look like someone who does what he say he's gonna do. Like, there's so many things that are positive about it.
Yeah.
I'd say for anyone struggling with anything, that's like step one is get in shape.
Well, and even just the fact that you are releasing like serotonin
Yeah,
and it just makes you feel better after you work out. I think
way more
that's,
effective than SSRIs.
yeah.
Way more
And
effective.
honestly, when I get really frustrated, sometimes I'm like, all right, I got to go work out,
Yeah,
or ride my bike or something
yeah.
physical. And then you kind of blow the cobwebs
Stuff
out
out.
there and then you feel much better.
Yeah. Anyways, we got way off track there.
Yeah. His diet is less clear, although it appears he eats a lot of green beans and cabbage and puts any money he has into buying protein, whey protein, slow releasing casein protein, and creatine for strength gains.
I'd say he buys some steroids too. It looks like it
Yeah.
for
Um
that age, like, cause he's 50. If he was like 30, I'd probably believe him more.
he does so he just according to this he eats green beans, cabbage, and whey protein. That's it.
That's a simple way of living.
I feel like he eats something else.
I think so, man.
Okay, who else was up there as far as who else did they say was controlling this shit that we
There
need
was
to
central
check?
banks, and then there was WEF, Club of Rome, a few other ones.
Yeah, that's what I was.
WHO probably.
Yeah, the who. Let's see if that World Health Organization.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let's see if we can get some the Wikipedia again. Jesus, this is long. The World Health Organization is a specialized agency of the United Nations responsible for international public health, headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland. Wasn't the last one in Switzerland as well?
Yeah. You know, they have because it's all the rich people go to Switzerland because they have like,
The banks that they can put their money in and not get taxed or
yeah, and there's
something?
like the taxes as well. Like a lot of rich people from Europe, they their companies are based in Switzerland because of the tax breaks and stuff like that.
I want to say that,
Also, they have assisted suicide there. So if like a lot of rich people go there when they get really sick, and so they don't have to suffer. Like for example, in Sweden, if you get cancer and you're just gonna suffer for the next few years, you could go there and just end it in a hospital. You know?
I want to just do a big old shot of heroin if I was going to do it and just get all
Yeah, I'd like to do
nice and
that too. That'd be
warm.
cool.
You're like, ah, it's so nice.
Yeah, that's a fucking way to go there. Yeah.
um, that's weird that it's all in Switzerland, but I guess it makes sense. It was Switzerland the one. That's the one that we're always like, I'm neutral. I'm Switzerland.
No, I think that's Sweden. That's here. Sweden is always neutral
But I
or
think we
whatever.
have a saying, and I think it's Switzerland.
Is it? I think it's Sweden. I'm not sure.
Hold on, let's look.
And also, talking about the WHO, the leader of the WHO, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, he is worth looking into because I think he was some sort of war criminal from Ethiopia or some shit like that.
And he's doing what now?
He's the director general of the WHO.
Oh,
He's that black dude who's on TV all the time with, yeah, and I think he was like charged or accused of war crimes and like terrorist acts and shit in Africa. He's some evil dude, anyways.
send
That's
me.
what I heard.
How do I spell his name?
Uh, just put WHO leader and it'll give you the name. I can look it up too.
Yeah, I see his. No wonder why he didn't try to fucking.
Yeah.
But of course, it's like,
With responsibility for genocide and crimes against humanity as a top Ethiopian official before leading the HWO. So there's something there. Like a buddy of mine who's actually from Ethiopia told me about it. So yeah, he's a sketchy dude. That
Okay, so is Ethiopia, what was the country that Bill Gates got their vaccines kicked out of? I want to say it was Ethiopia.
Could have been, but it was also India.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it was India. It might have been another country in some country in Africa too. I don't know, but it was definitely in India. But that's some horrible shit to be accused of, is of aiding genocide in Ethiopia. Genocide. I mean, the level of fucking. Yeah, there's some. I don't know. I don't think he was ever convicted or anything, but
Well, so that's why they did the emergency use thing here. Is basically, I think, from that whole issue. Like they
Yeah.
basically were like, well, we know that we got to have no liability in this because, like I said,
Yeah.
they got kicked out of the country or whatever, and they're not allowed to.
Yeah, you know they have a proposed like new thing that they want to do, which would mean that the WHO in a state of emergency can basically run all the countries that agree to it.
Yeah,
So the WHO could give, for example, vaccine mandates for
right,
every country, and the government wouldn't have anything to say about it.
right.
that
We
they
just
do
signed
anyways,
something to that effect, didn't we?
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't think it was that long ago.
No, that came like post pandemic. In case of another one, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, they. But what I'm saying is they did it over in India, got in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
He had all this liability. Then when they're like, okay, we're gonna do it in the United States, they're like, we need to get it so that we're immune, immune to
right.
like being, liable for this. Although they have started, do you know that there have been a couple of lawsuits from people that have been, forced to take the jab?
Yeah, I've seen that. There's a few things coming out.
Yeah, there have been 3 payouts.
Yeah.
Problem is, here's my question: who's paying?
Yeah, because if it's the tax dollars,
No, it's got to be probably. This was my theory, and I said this a long time ago. I'm like, the only one that's going to be if your business, if your work is like, hey, you have to get the shot, otherwise you can't work here. I feel like liability is going to fall on the business, and I'm like, all these smaller businesses that implemented all this stuff and made their employees, get the shot.
yeah,
They're going to get sued, and they're not going to have the money to do this. Like, I almost feel like it's a way to get rid of more middle class businesses.
yeah, that would make a lot of sense actually. Huh? I never thought of it like that. Yeah, but that would make tons of sense.
I mean, because once it starts getting, people start suing, and then the law reads that way,
Yeah,
it's just gonna,
yeah. Dude, do you know who? Shit, what's his name again? Kyle Newell. He's
No.
a gym owner from New Jersey.
Oh yeah, the guy that during the pandemic wouldn't shut down.
Yeah, I met him last week. I had him
Really?
on my show. Yeah, he's a cool guy, man. But he does some weird stuff. Like he drinks his own urine every morning. But yeah, he's a weird guy. But I had a blast with him, man. He's a cool dude. Yeah, and he told me the story about what happened during that time and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that was crazy because the cops showed up there every day.
Yeah, but he was saying that the cops were even like kind of nice with him, you know, because he's apparently in that neighborhood or whatever, he knows like most of the people there, and
I'm
like
sure.
they never forced him to do anything. They were like, could you just do it on the down low, maybe? Like, yeah,
Just pretend like you're not open.
kind of like, or could you do outdoor training instead, so you're
Uh,
not in the gym? And he actually did that. But like he got fined a bunch, but he ended up never paying anything. Uh, and he was like, it was kind of lucky that people actually came to train, because if they didn't, that it all would have been kind of pointless. But some
yeah.
people actually stood up and were like, yeah, we're gonna train, you know, we're gonna be here. Yeah, but he's a cool dude, man. Yeah, nice guy.
Awesome. That's funny that you had him.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Is there anybody else we need to look into here?
I don't know. There was about 5 or 6 of them, wasn't there?
What people?
Oh no, I'm just saying though. There was the WEF, there was the WHO, the Club of Rome.
What is WEF?
WEF is the World Economic Forum.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
A
I don't know if we have to dive
Geneva-based
into that.
foundation.
Yeah.
Everything's
And
in.
there, apparently, the WEF is one of the bigger ones that control the UN.
Yeah.
And the UN, did you see what they just passed, by the way? They're trying to decriminalize having sex with
Oh.
children, basically.
The UN is?
Yeah. Yeah. But
There-
it's just, you know, it's the WEF and these people. Like, it's the same people.
Yeah, they're like, we're the parent government, so we're going to try and push it from the top down.
Yeah, exactly.
How do we. like.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't
feel
even.
Exactly. I know how you feel. Exactly.
It's like.
How the fuck did we end up here?
Yeah. And
And why are no one saying shit?
because we're too busy arguing with each other that, you know,
About Trump and Biden.
Yeah. And that the money needs to go to this, the LGBTQ cause, or it needs to go to the veterans, or it needs, you know what I mean? It's like, no, we just need money in general for all the causes. It doesn't matter what cause you're behind. It probably needs some kind of funding. It probably needs some kind of help. And it should just be, you know, like the fact that we're arguing with each other that the money should go for LGBTQ causes or to veteran causes, and then billions upon billions are shipped to Ukraine, and nobody says dick.
No. It's crazy. Dude, on like the money thing, you should listen to this one. Actually, I'll highly recommend this dude. I don't think he's very like I don't think he knows everything what's going on, like the stuff that we're talking about. But the dude's name is Bjorn Lomborg, and he's a Danish like a numbers guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was on Modern Wisdom, if you ever saw that podcast, like yesterday or the day before.
Uh-huh.
So this dude is basically debunking the environmentalist, like the climate stuff,
Uh-huh.
but not in a like. He doesn't say that they're trying to control the world, but he was kind of saying that like, so if what they're proposing that we do, if we do all of that, you will spend like trillions of dollars yearly, which we really can't afford, and the improvement of the actual climate, if you look at numbers, is like in 200 years, it will be 4% less damaged. Like it's nothing. Like literally nothing happens. And then what he's trying to do is find like the bang for buck stuff that we can do to make the world better.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like he read some calculation that if you fix education in the third world countries, he was like you'd have to invest, let's say it was $35 billion, but what you get back from it in a year is like 600 billion.
Wow.
Because those people can then be productive.
Right.
It's like this is a super easy fix. Super easy. We could do that tomorrow. But they just won't do it.
How about even like, Yeah, because they don't want to, and even
Yeah.
everything becomes profit because even like Elon Musk being like,
Yeah.
hey, he put out a tweet a long time ago that was like, somebody needs to figure out a way to make carbon dioxide into oxygen,
What?
and I'm like, yeah, it's called fucking trees. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
The Earth already does it. Who needs to make like an air
Dude,
scrubber or
you
something?
should plant bamboo trees, man. Bamboo is like you can literally watch it grow. It grows like 3 feet in a day.
Oh,
It's
really?
crazy. Like, yeah, bamboo. If you plant bamboo trees, you can literally like the countries that produce bamboo. It's the fastest growing tree in the world, by far. Like you can literally see it grow. It's
What does
crazy.
it do with its carbon dioxide oxygen turnover? How does it relate in that?
Well, it does what every other tree does, I'm sure.
I know, but I just mean, does it do a lot? Like certain trees
I don't know.
probably um, do
Do more
more
than the
than
other.
others. Yeah, I
I
wonder.
would I would guess if the more leafy the tree is, the more it does it. But that's just a stupid guess. I don't know.
And you would think if it's growing fast, maybe also.
But that means it uses a lot of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
So that would be right.
Yeah, it would be a good thing, right?
If you're running, you're breathing in more oxygen, exhaling more carbon dioxide. So those
Yeah,
plants do opposite.
yeah,
So the more they're taking in, the more they should be putting out, I would think.
yeah. Do you know how much of the atmosphere is actually carbon dioxide?
No.
Take a wild guess, because this is the thing they're screaming about, right?
2%.
You're not too far off, but it's actually
Oh,
0.04%. Yeah, isn't that nuts?
that is nuts.
Yeah,
But,
and it's gonna kill us all.
well, here's another thing to think about. The more CO2 in the atmosphere, the bigger things grow.
Yeah,
So the more CO2 that was in the atmosphere, the bigger your vegetables, fruits, all that stuff would grow.
yeah,
So, and I'm getting, I guess, kind of into the weeds on this one. But so think about if, so all this ice, right, that is frozen, it has old carbon dioxide trapped inside of it. So they're saying that even the Earth is warming up, the ice is melting, and then all that carbon dioxide is being let out. That's been in there for however long. Now let's go back to when that carbon dioxide was all in the air, and we had dinosaurs, dude. Why did
yeah,
we
and
have
huge trees and
dinosaurs?
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
why? Just because there was more carbon dioxide in the air.
maybe
I mean, this is my theory. Are you telling me an alligator's not a friggin' dinosaur?
it is
A
for
turtle?
sure. Even a chicken,
That's
dude.
what I was.
Chicken. Yeah,
Now make that chicken 15 feet
yeah,
tall, okay? It's now a friggin' velociraptor, dude.
yeah, for sure. That's exactly what it is.
So
It's crazy.
they're like, all these things are gone. I'm like, no, they're not. We have elephants, we have rhinos, we have
Yeah,
hippos, we got manatees. Like,
crocodiles.
yeah, these are all fucking dinosaurs. They just
Of
shrunk
course.
down and we're similar size now.
Yeah,
But it's like people
dude,
might have been, maybe that's why people way back were bigger because of everything was bigger as well.
probably.
Way, way back.
Yeah. Dude, on that ice thing though, for one, they say the ice caps are melting and all this stuff.
Go
I
ahead.
saw a scientist who was like, first of all, they're not melting; they're actually growing. That's what
So
he said.
it's one
And
side, they keep focusing on the
is it
North
the
Pole.
north? Yeah,
Exactly. Which
yeah,
the North Pole is losing and the South Pole is getting more ice.
is gaining. But also, that aside, this is my whole thing with the ice stuff. I don't know about Fahrenheit, but I know Celsius, right?
Hmm.
And the temperature around those places is like minus 50 Celsius. But I live in Sweden. The coldest it gets here is like minus 25, minus
Right.
30. And that you can't even go outside if it's that cold.
Yeah.
If it's minus 50, how the fuck is it melting? How is it melting? How? I understand that the water, if the water's moving, it must be hotter than. So maybe that's how
Right.
it melts. I think the only ice that melts is the ice that's floating on water. But most of it, I think 80% of it or some shit, is not on water. It's actually on land. Like it's firm. Like it won't move.
Yeah.
So how the fuck is that melting if it's minus 50 degrees Celsius?
So that's a glacier then, if it's on
Yeah,
land,
most
right?
of it is glacier.
Yeah.
It's not like a floating ice fucking thing.
I don't know.
most
I
of
mean,
it.
because we don't go and see that shit.
Yeah, because they don't want us to get to the end of the Earth and see the other side of the flat planet we're on.
Maybe.
Nah, only kidding,
I
don't
talked
actually
to a
believe that.
flat earther guy. We may have to get him, but he had some good points where I'm like, I don't know, because he showed a map and he was like, these people are flying from here to here. He goes, they have an issue with the plane. And the way that our map sits, it was like it was going straight across. And then where they had the problem in the middle, there was like something right there. And he was
Yeah.
like, but instead, right here, they turned around and went all the way back to the beginning. And he's like, well, now if the earth was flat, he goes, now look at the distances. And I'm like,
Ah,
I mean,
dude,
that,
if you want to get freaked out on that topic,
sure.
Google this and go to pictures on Google. The UN logo map and look at that. Because it does not look like the world map. Does that look like the map that we've been shown?
Hold on. Map of the flat earth.
Just Google
Oh.
UN logo map.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
go
it
to
shows
pictures.
it next to the logo.
But the logo is a map.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Does that doesn't look like the planet or the maps that I've been shown.
not really. No, because
Isn't that weird as fuck?
So do you know that every picture of Earth is a composite?
Composite. What does that mean?
That means there's no just one straight picture from Earth, even from a space station. They're all pieced together.
Well, they must because it's round, right?
Yeah, but if you're far enough in outer space, why can't you just take a picture of the Earth?
Yeah, but I mean to get the whole thing, you would have to be on all sides.
If you're
simultaneously.
on the moon, you should, or whatever, you should no. Well, it does. It's not all sides. It's just from. But look it up. There's no just one. I even looked and it said something. I forget where I found it, but it was like this is. It said something like that, a composite or a recreation or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. This whole space thing, we could get into the moon landing as well. Because I heard a podcast on that, and after hearing that, I was like, they never went to the moon. I'm fucking sure of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably sound cuckoo as hell. Dude, we have a comment here from Bubs Cat's back. Yo, what's happening, Bubs?
What's up?
He said, I sub to many strong podcasts. You guys need to keep at it because you have a solid approach. Just need some viewers. Is Romanelli still around? You guys have good chemistry. No knock on the new guy. Who's Romanelli?
Mike's who we did the Free Thinkers Society with.
Oh, okay. I'd like to meet all these people you used to do it with. You should get some of them on, man.
Yeah, we will. I need to do that. I need to start getting a bunch of people on a bunch of things instead of just me
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta get going in about 10 minutes. man.
Okay.
Just so you know.
He said he was making fun of Rasmus, is what that guy said.
Who was?
No, I'm joking. Bub's cat. He said it wasn't a knock.
We must be within a pressurized vessel to contain the oxygen.
So when we talked to David Weiss, he said that like the way, and I don't really understand still, the way he explained it, it sounded like we're on like a flat surface and we're like in a little caldera or something. And then space, he said, was liquid or something. So I think we're just in we're in an air bubble.
Yeah, they say it's like a dome
Yeah.
above the planet. But where they lose me then, because I watched that thing on Netflix. They have a flat Earth thing on Netflix.
Uh-huh.
They lose me when they go, because people ask them, okay, so what is the sun then and the moon and
Right.
all that stuff? And then they go, well, the sun is just a light bulb, basically. And then I go, okay, you lost me now.
Yeah.
And also, to be really honest, to me, the Earth could be a fucking triangle. It doesn't change the price of tomatoes, right? Like, why would I? I don't give a fuck.
Well,
really.
that's that's the biggest thing to me is because then I'm like, why does it matter?
Yeah. to
What's
me,
the
it's
goal
like,
here to convince people it's round when it's flat? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what's the
Well, they're hiding shit on the other side, probably. But then also, if you're one of these people who's like keep you literally put hours on hours investigating it, why don't you just get on a raft and go to the edge? Like, show it to me, bring a camera, fucking go somewhere and take a
So
look.
they say that he was saying that basically we're in a big caldera, right? So
And
the
there's an ice wall.
yeah,
on the
we're
end of
actually
it.
surrounded. Yeah,
Yeah.
so Antarctica is actually all the way around us
Couldn't you just climb it then?
versus I don't know.
And there must be a way. Like,
But
I don't know, it's
so
weird. They might be right. I don't know.
here's
I don't know shit.
here's the thing. Well, I feel like people did map stuff pretty good. Like, how do we? That's the thing. What are the stars then? And all these cultures have
Yeah.
set stuff up in relation to the stars. Like, and then we even asked him that, and he didn't really have a good answer on the star thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it just seems kind of pointless to me. It's fun to think about, but it's also like, what does it matter?
well, here's one thing that could matter. Think about now that nobody uses maps. Okay, like so. Think about
Or
there.
like a physical map.
Right. There are old
Huh.
maps from before our history where they had a bunch of places drawn out that we didn't know existed for another, whatever, 300 years. So that came from really old maps before.
Mm.
But think about if they drew maps and they omitted stuff. Well, now think about nobody had, and then you could still compare to older maps and be like that was gotten rid of. But now the fact that we all do GPS, like they could just route you, or like say they wanted to pretend like where's all the gold allegedly? Fort
I don't know. I haven't
Fort
heard that.
Knox. Okay.
Oh, Fort Knox. Yeah. Yeah.
Say they wanted to pretend Fort Knox did not exist. Okay, so now in your directions, it just routes you around Fort Knox. You don't even know because you have no idea where you are geologically because you're just following this phone. So they could literally have just some section that just doesn't show up on Google Maps
Of course.
and they just route you around it and nobody would ever know. Like it's becoming more easy to hide stuff because we're just on
I'm
the
sure
internet.
they do that.
I'm sure
Surely
too.
They do stuff like that. I'm sure. It's like why wouldn't they if they could? They want to hide stuff, right?
Yeah, for sure. Because if we
Yeah.
figure too much out, then they can't control us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is, I think. Dude, I heard something hilarious the other day. A dude made a video. So he basically said, isn't it crazy how the government is saying that the aliens are here?
Yeah.
And the conspiracy theorists are going like, yeah, sure, bro. Like, the conspiracy theorists are like, no, they're not. You're just fucking with us. It's another distraction. Like,
Well, why are they releasing it now?
they're trying to distract you from what's
Exactly.
going on. This is like all the other shit.
Aliens are a weird one anyway, right? Like,
Yeah, super weird.
I have talked to people that said that they think that they're from other dimensions. Like it's not like they're from another planet out in the solar system. It's
Yeah.
just like another dimension,
Yeah.
like the DMT realm or
Yeah.
something like that. Which I am leaning more towards that stuff as well.
Yeah.
Like basically because everybody that does DMT or LSD or whatever seems to run into the same entity, same
Yeah.
beings.
Yeah.
So I also think, like if you, and who knows now, obviously all of our timelines have been changed, but when they say about the people on Earth, I mean, I guess there's two forms of thought to this, but when they say people on Earth started using fire, they put the same time within like 100 or 200 years on opposite sides of the planet. I remember
Yeah.
learning this, and they're like, "Oh, they started using fire around this time, here and here," and I'm like, "Well, that doesn't make any sense. They just happened to find it at the same time."
Yeah.
So there's either one of two things: the aliens from the other dimension came and gave the knowledge, or once somebody thought it, it got put up into the psychedelic Ethernet realm.
It's the
Where
collective consciousness, man.
exactly, where it's basically once that thought gets put out into the universe, now it's free for other people to grab too. And it's like, which makes a lot of sense. And obviously, people see stuff, but even like freestyle motocross, as soon as somebody learns a trick, it's like, boom, everybody can do that trick,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, but
it's,
I think that's a different thing because that's like the sub 3 hour marathon thing
yeah, or
or
it's
sub 2 hour.
4 minute
Because
mile.
that's just, yeah, exactly. Because you just show people that it's possible and then people believe that they can do it.
Right, but
But
it
I
doesn't.
know they've done with rats, I think. So on one part of the planet, they taught rats to do something,
Hmm.
and all of a sudden, rats all over the planet was like doing that thing.
Really?
I think Rogan talked about that one time. And also another thing that actually I saw this week, I saw it. It was some other dude on Rogan's. He said, coral in the water.
Yeah.
He said they release, when they release their spores.
Where?
He said it's like a random day, like once a year or twice a year, all the coral from the same species release all their spores, but they might be on the other side of the planet, but they all do it like within the same minute. And even if you take the coral out of the water and you put it in a bucket in fucking New Jersey, it will do it simultaneously with all the other coral on the whole planet.
Wow.
And that's like proven. They've filmed it in different locations simultaneously. It's like super weird. It's like the coral has a connected consciousness and they just do it. It's super trippy, man. But I believe in that stuff. And I had a dude actually released it yesterday on my podcast. He's done DMT like 200 times. And he told me that one time he did it, he was like, I shot up into like an electric kind of grid.
Uh-huh.
And then it was like he dove into other people and he would see the perspective from their eyes.
Wow.
So he said, like, all of a sudden I was like a rice farmer in India. And the next second I was like a Chinese woman with a baby. And what he said when he came back, he looked at the positioning of the sun. So it was like nighttime for him. He was in the US. And the positioning of the sun of all the places he went it was like he actually went. You understand what I'm saying? Like the time would have been exactly what it was.
Yeah. Oh, but
So
then the
he was
sun
like,
just kept it being in different spaces because of where he was on the planet.
yeah. So like it was nighttime in the US. When he went to China, it was like morning or daytime. And then he went to like maybe Greece. And the time was like it was exactly what it would have been. So he was like, I think I actually went into people's minds because we're all connected through this. He explained it like it was an electric grid that our consciousness is all connected through this energy thing
Yeah.
above the earth. And it was super trippy to hear it. I've never had an experience like that, but I've heard multiple people say similar things.
So this is why I think that I forgot where I was going with that. I agree with you on everybody's connected, and
Yeah.
and there has to be some kind of um like I said, information field just out of reach for us normally. And maybe it is there. I'm sure that you probably access it and don't even know. But once you get into the
Maybe.
DMT realms and stuff like that, then you actually start to be like, oh, I know where I was going with that. You start to actually like be able to go, oh, this is a real thing. But
Yeah.
what I was going to say is I think that you know how they say the earth goes through different phases, being like the Bronze Age, Silver, Gold Age, or
Mm.
whatever. I think that we get like I don't know, I assume we're in bronze right now, but I think it's the collective what creates the difference between the ages is the collective consciousness, right? Because I would say right now we're
Oh.
kind of in a negative headspace.
Yeah.
Everybody's complaining, you know, it's a lot of negative, like people in America are bitching about how bad America is, and it's like you're really not that bad, like you guys are ridiculous.
Yeah.
um
You're saying that in your hot tub, like,
Yeah,
shut
exactly.
up.
On you're writing this from your hot tub on your
Yeah.
$1,200 iPhone
Yeah.
with 100 channels of cable inside, you know, and your
Yeah.
job that you make $60,000 a year and you're upset about it. Like,
Yeah.
so I think that that's the whole collective consciousness needs to. That's why it takes so long to get back around to, you know, gold or whatever, because you have to have a massive change of consciousness so that everybody
Mm.
starts believing that way. And I think right now we're just stuck in this, you know, monetarily driven world where, you know, if people were less monetarily driven, there would be less of these huge, you know, corporations imposing all this
Yeah.
shit on us.
Well, yeah, that might be. Maybe they know all this, and that's why they're trying to keep us divided.
Maybe. They're like, if they come back around, then
Maybe.
so
Because
we
if we all come together, then they can't do any of this stuff
right.
to us, you know?
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. If everybody was like we were talking about voting with your dollar, if everybody's just like, hey, we're not going to buy, you know, Beyond Burgers and this and that. We're going to source everything locally from local, you know, communities, you know,
Yeah.
people in our community. Then they lose all their power. Here's the other thing. Really, if we're talking about the environment anyway, which they like to predicate a bunch of this shit on, why is food being flown here from Mexico or
Yeah.
from Australia? Or like, why don't we just have, why aren't they going, hey, every community needs to set up their own dairy, meat,
Fruit,
yeah,
everything.
vegetables, and then you guys
Yeah.
all live sustainably off your own area, which is how it should be anyway.
Yeah. But it's that thing we talked about it last time or the time before. It's that thing where, you know, but Lisa wants to eat oranges all year round.
Exactly.
Like you don't get to, you fuck. Who cares? Isn't it better that you only get oranges in the summertime so you actually appreciate it?
Yeah, and they would
I don't
taste
get it.
good because they're actually ripe instead of. Listen, if you eat
Yeah.
fruit here in New Jersey, that's out of season, it's kind of shit. It doesn't taste the
Yeah.
same way it does in season. So it's
Of
like,
course. Dude, I got when I lived in Australia, because they grow pineapples and stuff over there, mangoes and avocados and stuff. My neighbor got me. She went to a pineapple farm and got me a pineapple. It's a completely different fruit from the ones we get here. Like it
dude,
doesn't even taste like the same fruit. It's crazy.
papaya.
Or that too. If you go like Thailand, oh
South America, like in the United States, you get papaya, and it's like basically texture in your mouth because they don't
yeah,
taste like shit.
yeah,
And I was in Colombia one time, and they had, you know, a bunch of fruit, and I was like, oh well, let me just try. I was like, I know I don't like this, but let me try it. Yo, it was so good. It had
yeah.
so much flavor. I'm like, this is what is this? This isn't papaya. Like this is crazy.
We're being fooled, man. Dude, I gotta run, but maybe there was some comments here. Maybe we
Yeah,
should
that's what I was just gonna do before, and then
yeah.
we'll get off. All right, Bub's cat has a lot to say on flat Earth. He says we must be within a pressurized vessel to contain oxygen. He said the sun seems to be an energized object created by electromagnetic field, toroidal field. Essentially, the fields in the atmosphere charge up the sun, and it's a product of focused energy point. He even knows stars. Stars are cymatics, focused energy vibration that creates the light effect in fluid. Look up star in a jar experiment.
Should we do a deep dive into the 9/11? I would actually love to do that.
Yeah, we can do that. And then he has a bunch on, which I did know, Werner von Braun, which is weird. How is it Werner von when the first one starts spelled with a V also? So it should be Werner von Braun? Is that
shit
not right?
Some German stuff.
So he wrote Mars Mission, a technical tale. His protagonist that makes it to Mars is named Elon. Also, everybody, Elon's parents are sus as fuck.
Right?
Yes, his mom. That's a good one too, because his mom. And he was also in. Elon and Tulsi Gabbard went to like the World Economic Forum youth something or other.
Well, I've heard that Elon, because people think that he's the savior from from the like.
Because he does
but then
say
I've heard,
some
like,
stuff.
Well, he's saving Twitter. He's like doing some good stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just a cover up too.
Right.
I don't know. That I saw the dude I had on the show who did all the DMT. I saw one of his. He's actually stand up too. He said.
He's
I
what?
like
Did
to
you say?
He's a stand up comic.
Oh, okay, cool.
Eli Halpern. He said that he's like, I like to out conspiracy theorize the conspiracy theories. And someone would be like, oh, the government is trafficking children. And he's like, oh no, that's just a cover up for some other shit. Like how deep you go, like it's always like there's a cover up for something else.
Yeah, like the trafficking, they're doing something even way worse, where they're like just sidetracking you with trafficking children. Here you go.
But,
Elon's father was a major pusher of technocratic movement.
Oh, there we go.
And his mom is something.
He's way too pale to be a nice guy.
And I've seen pictures of his mom with the eye and all that shit as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So maybe we'll do
next time.
We'll do 9/11 next time. Next week we're doing 9/11. It'll be Thursday or Friday.
Awesome. Bob's cat, Ryan, you're some savages. If you can I don't know how to get more viewers. Actually, I'm clueless. I just hope people tune in, but I don't know how they would find us.
I need to start cutting out some highlights of this shit too, and I was trying to find some AI to cut highlights.
Oh, there is an app actually, but you have to pay for it. But if you put like your show, you just put the video into the app.
Yep.
It does the videos for you. It just chops up pieces of it, and it's weird, man. But you have to pay for it.
Well, let's see what it is.
I can't remember what it was.
Figure out maybe.
I'll look it up and send it to you.
And then maybe, I don't know if you're interested, we can, depending on what it is, go in on it or something. Then we can just be chopping up videos like a motherfucker.
Yeah, we could. Yeah. Why not? I'll look it up and I'll send it your way, and we'll see if we can do it.
Okay.
But yeah, if anyone watching, maybe spread it to your friends. I don't know.
Word up. All right. Swayze.
Word, Ryan. Thank you guys for watching. This has been this one was a lot of fun actually, even though we always go off topic, but
yeah.
Basically the world is run by reptile shapeshifters and
aliens.
The planet might be flat,
but it could also be round.
Like a light bulb. Yeah, it could be round as well. Our food is being poisoned, and I don't know. Let's come together.
There you go. So
yeah.
At least you ended it exactly. I was gonna say, man, this is a doom and gloom end to the show, but you turned it around at the end.